Hi, I'm QuackSilver. This is one of the coolest, wildest marathon conceits of all time, and I am very excited to show off Rift of the Necrodancer. Rift of the Necrodancer is the quote-unquote sequel to Crypt of the Necrodancer. It is, unlike its predecessor, it is just a straight-up rhythm game. Which I'm very excited to be able to show off. This is my first rhythm game ever, and it got its hooks in me real bad when it came out in February of this year. We're just gonna be playing through some tunes. This category is an impossible showcase, but I figured I'd start us off in order to talk like basic mechanics with a hard song. So we're gonna go ahead and start the timer in just a second, and we'll talk about Rift in 3, 2, 1, go. So, Rift of the Necrodancer. This is Overthinker by Jules Conroy. Rift of the Necrodancer is a 3-lane rhythm game where instead of notes, you're hitting Necrodancer enemies. As you can see already, there are multiple types of enemies. Some of them move diagonally, some of them require multiple hits to kill, some of them require multiple hits to kill, and swap lanes after every time you hit them.
Now we're talking.
Basically, the design conceit for this is it tries to follow the behavior of enemies in Crypt where possible. So you can see, like, the levels of bats, as well as generally the rule in this game being if it's blue, it takes 2 hits to kill.
Awesome.
Rift uses combo scoring, like a great many rhythm games, so in order to FC a song, I need to hit every single note and also not overhit at any point. Similar to Guitar Hero, it uses vibe power, which is very similar to star power from those games. You need to hit the full phrase in order to get vibe power, and then while vibe power is active, it doubles your score and makes you impervious to taking damage. That's sort of like the basic idea of everything that's going on. Something else to note is this game has 3 lanes, but 4 buttons. Technically 8 buttons, but we care about one set of inputs for right now. In addition to up, left, and right, I can hit down in order to hit all 3 lanes at once, but only if there is actually an enemy in each of the 3 lanes. I think that's the, like, basic mechanics overview. This is Jules Conroy, this has a fully original soundtrack with a ton of artists, all of whom own. Jules Conroy, Family Jules, any shredding enjoyers in the chat? Nice, okay. We're starting off strong. I love starting with a hard chart on these to, like, see where the nerves level is at. Also, obviously, to check, like, accuracy. This game uses a very standard accuracy system. We're looking for perfect. You play rhythm games, probably, if you're here. You know that. Nice FC. And, like, fine accuracy. This was the amuse-bouche. Now let's actually play some impossible charts. We're gonna start with Nocturning by the sort of lo-fi duo in this game, Sam Webster and Nick Nausbaum. If you were just around for the Crypt run that preceded this run with Nocturna, they made Nocturna absurdly attractive in this game for basically no reason. This is also going to introduce us to harpies, in addition to just what impossible is like. It's more dense. Harpies move 2 lanes or 2 squares at a time. Green harpies take 1 hit, blue harpies take 2, and red harpies don't ever wait, so they actually move double time.
Good work.
Red harpies are no one's favorite. I feel comfortable saying that. But they are my favorite color, it's true. Unfortunately, I've got chat on the wrong monitor, so I can't do the party trick as well of reading chat while playing a rhythm game. I'm also trying to front-load my commentary as much as possible, because this will get substantially harder. I guess that's actually, we can talk about the intensity system. There are 4 difficulties of this game: easy, medium, hard, impossible. And each song has an intensity on a scale from 1 to 30. The Overthinker chart that I played to kick off this showcase is intensity 13. It's the lowest intensity I'm going to be playing, and we will go all the way up to 30. And depending on how spicy I'm feeling by the end of this, maybe up to an intensity 30 chart that's actually secretly like intensity 31 or 2. We'll see. We'll see where we're at in 50 minutes. She's trying to lock in maybe a little bit, because it's good fun. Sure.
Right on.
This is basically just, do you know how harpies work? The song. But it's very pretty, so it's in all the set lists. You hate to see it. It's fine, we're getting into it. So if you were around for Crypt of the Necrodancer before this, you may be familiar with one of the greatest songs in video games of all time, actually. Cryptech, which Danny Baranowski popped off on. In a free update to the game not terribly long ago, they added a couple of bass Crypt charts into this. There are a lot of Crypt remixes on the soundtrack by default, but we got just straight-up Cryptech, and it would not be a Necrodancer block if we did not have Cryptech representation. This is going to introduce us to a couple new enemy types, notably armadillos. I guess first I'll talk about skulls. Skulls burst into skeletons when they're killed. That's skulls. There are 3 types, as with everything else. But armadillos. Armadillos are your triplets. Gold armadillos require, like, triplets in a single beat. Blue armadillos are just the first two triplets. And red armadillos are the first and third triplets. You can also think about them as swung eighths. So you get a lot of patterns like that, where the red armadillo has some other enemy in the middle of its two hits.
Now we're talking.
But that's mostly the enemy types in this. The rest of the song just slaps, so I'm gonna shut up for this one.
I'm on fire.
Oh, actually, something here is there is a technique in this game called worm cheese. This game accepts two sets of inputs, WASD and arrow keys. So by holding down a lane with one input, you only have to tap it on the other input. Nice FC. You only have to tap it on the other input, so basically for that worm chain there, what I do is I just hold S, I hold down on one input, and then I just have to tap it. There, it's, you know, just a couple worms, so it's really not necessary. There are a couple of songs later that it will become absolutely crucial on. Speaking of songs that simply slap, this is Glass Cages. Glass Cages is notable because it's been around since the demo of this game, and it's one of the hardest songs I've ever heard in my life. There is a violin solo in the middle of it. And my favorite story about Glass Cages is that its swing is so nasty that it forced them to change how they do hit detection early on in the game. There's an interview with Danny Baranowski and Josie Breckner, the composer of this song, where he was like, yeah, you really made us make the game better.
Good work.
But also, this song is introducing us to Blade Masters. Blade Masters will raise their sword with a sound effect, and then the next beat will teleport to the front line. Which is, a lot.
Impressive.
They are also few people's favorite enemy. Anyway, violin solo. Thank you, chat, for not talking during the violin solo. I appreciate you.
Excellent.
But then we move right into there into some of my favorite charting in the game, TBH. Like, this section is just cool. Cool overhead.
Impressive. Right on.
Yeah, still almost a 1.9 mil. We take those. Yeah, I see cheeses in the chat. Since we took damage on this song, might as well talk about food. There's 4 types of food. It's an apple, cheese, a drumstick, and then ham that heal you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 bites respectively. And each bite heals you for a single health point. So you can heal yourself up to 4. On and On concludes our "This song is just in the set list" because it goes unfathomably hard. It sort of introduces the main concept of, like, in my opinion, what Impossible is all about, which is using shielded skeletons on 2 lanes at once to force you into 16th note patterns.
All right. Yay!
This was also written by Alex Mukala, whose style I would describe as funky rave. Something I haven't mentioned is the double shielded skeletons. Shielded skeletons are 8th note successive hits. So once on beat and then once off beat. Double shielded skeletons are 3 8th notes, so it'll be on, off, and then on the next beat. So you can get all sorts of weird patterns with them. Yeah, this basically just runs through all the common 16th note things. It's also funny because this is one of my, like, earlier Impossible clears, and earlier Impossible FCs as well. So I still mostly know this on one hand, because it was before I started learning how to two-hand things.
On a roll.
And it's like, wow, this was a good teacher. Dang, just missing 2.5 mil.
Crushed it.
And now we get to the part where I have to remember what my setlist notes actually were. Yeah, Under the Thunder's fun. Let's do Under the Thunder. This is the fastest chart in the game. 268 BPM for most of the song.
Show off.
And it's fun with Blade Masters. It's a good reaction time check. That is also a lovely point in the chat. Every enemy has a shadow underneath it. The shadows are circles if the enemy needs to be struck on beat.
Now we're talking.
Diamonds if they need to be off beat. And stars if they are neither on the beat or on the end of the beat. Anything stranger gets a star shadow, which means that some things that rely on like heavy use of like swing rhythms or just delays, like if they're trying to chart synth delays, like some of the Celeste tracks, gets a little bit less nice to read. My toxic trait is that I think this game is fairly parsable, which not a lot of other rhythm game enjoyers seem to think it is.
In the zone.
Alright, the thing about Under the Thunder is that there's like essentially one section that is the section. And it's like 3/4 of the way into the song. So we're gonna see how we do. It's been a second for this song. Here we go.
In the zone.
I will take that any day of the week. The way my history with this song is someone just like came into my stream chat and was like, have you played, well I was like February while I was getting into the game, was like, have you played Under the Thunder yet? You have to, it's one of the most fun charts.
Rock on.
And I sat there and got walled at the section for like half an hour. That's a fun one. There's our 2.5. Oh, it was just overhits. Dang, okay. Yeah, I'll take that any day of the week. 2 overhits, no misses. Chill. Chillin'. Yeah, let's keep going fast. Ravenge is the other half of the funky rave that is Alex Mukala. This is Ravenge. It's 260 BPM the entire way through. And also introduces us meaningfully to portals. For portals, you watch the crack on the ground to see where the enemies are gonna drop out of the portal. portals can move enemies both forwards and backwards. So stay on your game. There's a really cool visual moment at the end of this song with backwards portals that I'll point out. If I have see this but for the silly miss at the start, I'm gonna be a little mad. Good. Something else to note about worms is
Now we're talking.
releasing a worm early won't drop your combo, but it will end vibe. It won't end vibe, but it will, like, you will drop a vibe power phrase if you release a worm too early, is what I mean. Alright, pay attention to the skeletons here. They're jamming out. It's so good. They're just jamming out. Sometimes you got a skeleton wiggle. Speaking of wiggles, oh, this is perfect. It's like we did this on purpose, even though we absolutely didn't. Speaking of wiggles, my dear viewer, I'm trying to make fetch happen. We're codifying a new term in rhythm games. It's called wiggly. A song is wiggly if the song contains both eighth notes and triplets in the same musical phrases. I am a professional musician. Do not tell me what that actually is. I don't care. It's called wiggly. This is Brave the Harvester, which is our first example of a wiggly song. You'll see it in the, like, first shredding section. This also, I think, is our first brush against Blued Blade Masters, which just bounce back and can do the whole sword shtick again. Anyway, wiggles.
I'm on fire.
That actually wasn't a very wiggly section. It's mostly just Dillos, but it's fine. We'll get there.
All right.
Oh, there were probably Blue Blade Masters in glass cages. Alright. Solo.
On a roll. Right on.
So there, I worm cheese the ending, and then drop it because I'm busy talking about worm cheesing the ending. It's fine. It's fine. We're having a good time.
Crushed it.
You know, I'll take over 2 mil. I'll take over 2 mil to showcase. What are we building to here? I think I'm going to take a brief detour into one of the indie game crossover tracks. I will definitely do a second lap here and catch some of the indie game crossover tracks that I have not gone while I've just been sort of scrolling through in difficulty level. But shout out to the Pizza Tower DLC. I think it's criminally underappreciated, and also the song is just a banger chart.
3, 2, 1, fight!
Any Pizza Tower enjoyers in the chat?
Now we're talking. I'm on fire!
What Pizza Tower, or Worldwide Noise specifically, is notable for is I have 2 different two-handing methods across the song. Just for some of the patterns. And I think it's the only song.
Awesome!
Shout out to that one harpy.
On a roll!
Something I guess I haven't talked about is when you, like, if you're in the middle of active vibe power phrases do still show up, and you can still hit them to extend the vibe power. Alright, -1, I feel okay about that. Important question for the chat. You like jazz? Count Funkula is one of the songs... You couldn't see it, but I, like, spiked the camera for that and everything. Count Funkula is one of the songs where, like, the grid system of Rift really snaps into focus, pardon the bad pun. Because you can't control your scroll speed, and it's very low BPM and lots of overlapping enemies. Alright, drum solo here.
Amazing!
That was fine.
Splendid! Right on! Magical! In the zone.
But yeah, this is definitely the song I show to other rhythm gamers to hurt their feelings a little bit. I forget what its BPM actually is, but it's rough to have on a grid. With no editable scroll speed, by the way. But I honestly love it. Like, again, this is the rhythm game for me. Nothing else I have tried, and I've tried a couple at this point,
Now we're talking.
quite hook me in the same way. $115, thank you, if no one else got me. Yeah, that's like, it's the lowest in the game by a healthy margin. Alright, and with that we're up to the 30s. So these are the hardest charts in the game. How do I want to order these? Because we'll play 3 of these and then go detour briefly for a custom chart or 2, and then we'll come back to the end. Is what I'm feeling. This is Baboosh. It's Danny Baranowski and Josie Breckner. It's unquestionably my favorite song in the game, and while we may have seen it briefly, this is a song that is going to teach you about mystery traps. Actually, I think I skipped Rift Within. So this is the song that's going to teach you about mystery traps. Mystery traps replace the enemies with giant question marks, but they're still the same enemy underneath, and you need to hit it the same way, including shields and things. This song is great. It does a great job of teaching you a pattern and then asking you to replicate that pattern with all the enemies obfuscated, which I love.
That's how it's done.
I'm on fire!
Also, there just aren't that many enemy types, which is great. Less less to think about. And this is a song where Worm Cheese is gonna be huge.
Right on.
Excellent.
So right here, I'm gonna hit S, and now I'm just holding down for this entire section and tapping every single worm. It makes one of the most painful vibe power phrases to hit in the entire game actually manageable. And again, a little bit more worm cheese here. Of course, we drop once right at the beginning, and then we're just like, yep, it's Baboosh. I love that song. Fine, go be well. It's great fun. If you're interested in this game, I think this is peak Rift of the Necrodancer. Then for any Super Meat Boy fans out in the audience, Slugger's Refrain was one of the first DLC songs they released. It's notable, one, for having stacked 16th note shielded skeletons, like 2 shielded skeletons stacked on the same lane, so it basically requires 2 hands. Anyway, I'm not a masher, I'm sorry. But it also literally requires 2 sets of inputs because it is our first instance to the mechanic they introduced in the DLC of having notes fall over sustains.
On a roll.
So here, you need 2 sets of inputs. Pour one out for the people playing this game on Guitar Hero controller or dance pad. I actually don't know if that's there on lower difficulties than Impossible. Someone will fact check me on this.
I'm on fire.
Fast. Alright, I went for the optimal vibe activation that I shouldn't have there. I usually do that safer. That's fine.
I'm on fire.
What are we fact-checking? If the notes behind sustains are also present on lower difficulties, in DLC charts, or if that's just impossible nonsense. Alright. Got about 15 minutes, so I'm gonna dip briefly into the custom chart. This game has Steam Workshop support. There are a bunch of things that I won't play on a stream, especially that's not mine. But shoutouts to the charting of Cruel Angel's Thesis and also Busted from Phineas and Ferb. You gotta check them out. But there are a couple of charts that I really do want to showcase. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I have a plan. First off, there is an official Miku DLC, and you should play the official Miku DLC. While I have a captive audience, I'm going to shout out the best Miku chart. It's by one of the charters who wound up, Brace Yourself Games, like, reached out to community members to chart, like, the Miku and Hololive DLCs so that they could focus on other stuff. We don't know what that stuff is yet, but, this song, Lovely Cavity, came out after the Miku DLC dropped, and it's maybe my favorite chart in the game, as a whole. I just think the patterns are sick. So anyway, shout out to Tsune Miku.
Now we're talking. All right. On a roll. Awesome.
Random fun with red harpies for a sec.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, okay, I think I have the end of my set list. Sorry, that pause was me trying to figure out... Oh, that was an overhit, too. You hate to see it. Decent accuracy, too. Alright, we got 3 more songs left. First, we're going to... Zergosh, this is Ultra Synergy Matrix by Tanjiki. It is... I've heard it compared to, like, the most like another rhythm game of the Rift charts. Because everything moves so fast and is mostly skeletons that if you play a lot of other rhythm games, this is followable. Or so it has been explained to me.
Right on.
Also, everything's on fire. Don't worry about it. Fire is a grounded trap that doubles the speed of anything that walks over it, so it has to be touching the ground. Brief mystery trap section.
I'm on fire. On a roll.
Fast. Precisely. It's all super fast. Cool. 2 songs left.
Break a
Oh, nice. Nice up score. We got one this showcase for for Jon Snow. I'd like to dedicate that up score to Jon Snow. Recently, they added custom portrait support to Rift of the Necrodancer Workshop. Immediately, in one of the community Discord sight reading tournaments, someone took that custom portrait capability and used it for evil. This is censored. See if you can notice the difference.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, there are notes under there, who knew? Okay, I was like, there's no way that outscores. I'm not going to lie. I missed the first star power phrase, and I don't usually, and I was like, my stomach dropped. I would like to dedicate not dying there to Jon Snow as well. Shoutouts to Katie, who did the custom chart. There is a real impossible difficulty chart underneath there. You can check it in practice mode. I highly recommend you check it out. It's so fun. But we are gonna end with the one song that is, in my opinion, difficulty 32. This is Reach for the Summit from the Celeste DLC. It was charted by Spooty Biscuit, which is a name you should probably know if you know anything about rhythm games or Necrodancer. I'm gonna shut up for it because I'm going to focus so as to not die. It's absurd. It's just absurd. It hard requires, in my opinion, 2 sets of inputs and hefty use of the down key. Time will be when this song is over. Okay, thank God. If I have seen it here, no disrespect to Mr. Snow.
I'm on fire. In the zone.
There's no way I have seen the outro! Okay, God. Unbelievable. That's like a -2. I hate it here. Time. Oh, that's a new note record.
That's the stuff.
That's so silly. Well, I guess, that's Rift of the Necrodancer. That's absurd. Thank you so much, Cyril, Cruel, and the people running Jon Summer-thon. This is an absurd concept, and I mean that with all the love in my heart. If you enjoy this, you can find me at twitch.tv/QuackSilverPlays, but mostly you can find me... yeah, it's... Yeah. But, also, I will be speedrunning. I'll be showcasing this, at Flame Fatales in about a month. Which it'll be roughly analogous to this set list. We may be throwing a couple curveballs in there. I'm still working on it. But also play this game. It's sick. I have always joked that I approach rhythm games the same way I approached my transition. I don't have a great cultural background in it. I don't know what I'm doing at any point in time, but it looks cool and it makes me happy, so I'm gonna keep doing it, and you can do it too. That's all for me. I am excited to see what on earth is coming next at this marathon. So I'll pass it back to our lovely restream team.